I feel alone. That's not an easy thing for someone like me to admit. We all feel alone sometimes. Maybe you just moved to a new city. Maybe you just got divorced. Maybe you just recently became single again. And you didn't realize when you ditched all your friends that this thing wouldn't work out. Maybe you have a perceived insurmountable task at work and you're just like overwhelmed. How am I gonna, please my boss and get this done? And no one's helping you. Maybe tragedy has struck and you've lost someone, or you've lost a friend, or maybe even a relative and they're no longer here with you. And you're just going through the grieving process and feeling really, really alone. A week ago, I got a fever and I got really sick. And it took a really long time to recover. After the 4th or 5th day, I was still feeling down. I jumped on Netflix and I started watching Supergirl. And I was watching all these shows. Entourage, Legacies, The Flash, Friends. I got really, really sad and I started crying. And I didn't understand why I was crying. I'm like, why am I crying right now? And then a day or two later, I realized I was crying because Supergirl has all her friends that are there for her. And you see these shows, they're like, first of all, they're staged beautifully, right? The bedroom is beautiful, the scene, the school is beautiful. All your friends are there with you. They've got your back. You got the super friends. You have friends who, no matter what, will stick by you. All your friends look super cute. All these different characters in the show, resonate with different personality types. And I'm like, why don't I have that? I'm so lonely. Woo. And you know what? What I realized later on, as I got better physically and mentally, was that reality is not like that, is it? These shows are fantasies, but reality can be dark. Reality can be twisted. Reality is imperfect. Reality sometimes is ugly, but maybe there's a beauty in the ugliness. And so I stopped watching these fantasy shows and I started just being with reality. No YouTube, no Netflix, really not even a computer. I just started reading a lot, nonfiction actually. And here are some things I think that will help you when you're feeling really alone. What I realized was that we're not alone. It's the illusion of loneliness, I think, that really kills us. And Tony Robbins would say fear is false evidence appearing real. And so when we're alone, we think that there's nobody there, when in fact, all of us are connected in some way. It may not seem like it at this particular moment, but once I got out of that illusion and mind fog, I started seeing the truth, which was just by being alive, we're connected. On a practical level, something I practiced since my very tough breakup many years ago was the idea of projecting self-love. So I was giving out love to people. I was trying to get love and I was trying so hard. And I realized that love that I was projecting, I can actually project it onto myself. And when you're alone, usually what happens is parasympathetic nervous system, your autonomous nervous system feels very frightened, right? You're alone, there's a fight or flight response. You really stop taking care of yourself. And what I realized was, okay, let me redirect the love to myself and then let me engage in what I call soothing activities. So soothing activities are activities that really allow your nervous system to calm down and to feel safe. Now these activities for me surprisingly was eating a little mochi bar. It was taking a bath. Perhaps for some of you might be getting your nails done, getting a pedicure, going for a massage, going for a late night walk. If you don't have the money, I have this foam roller that I massage myself and I just reassure myself that things will be okay. Become conscious of my breath. I'm like, am I breathing heavily? All right, let me readjust that for a moment. Let me just sit here with myself and just recalibrate my breath, okay? Your breath is like almost the thing you need, your life force, right? And so I calmed down my nervous system by doing what I call soothing activities. And after about 2 or 3 days of doing this, I started feeling a little bit better. The next thing that I did was I called up a lot of my friends. And this is a good opportunity for you who's really there for you when you need them. And I was pleasantly surprised that a lot of people were there for me, even though I didn't consider them good friends, but somehow they picked up the phone and they talked to me for as long as I needed it. And it was really cool to see. I think I've gotten to a point in my life where I'm fortunate enough and also I screen them enough to have good friends. I no longer have a lot of fake friends like I did in my 20s. I personally, sometimes when I'm really down, I pray I believe in a higher power in the universe. And then sometimes there's a matter of grace. I was walking in the hallway and I met this dog and its owner. And I personally love dogs, but I hate dogs who are untrained. And a lot of them in the States are untrained. But this particular dog lady, she was super well behaved, and her owners were the older couple. And they were so warm and so nice. And that interaction lasted maybe a minute. But I realized that one moment gave me the strength to go on for another week. Sometimes all you need is just one person to really show you that humanity is not so bad. And perhaps if you don't have that, maybe you can be that person for somebody else. And maybe in helping somebody else, you actually help yourself. We come to this world attached to our mothers. But for most of us, I would say even for all of us, when we leave this realm, right? Brian Tracy would say, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. And one day when we leave, the process of dying, there's another quote I remember, it's like, all death is violent, something like that. The idea of the peaceful death is just untrue. I think that was Dr. David Sinclair. I think I read it in that book. Anyway, he was talking about how his grandmother died, and he said, all death is violent. When we die, whatever that process might be for us, right, leaving this realm, that is a very individual experience. And I think the better we are prepared for it, the more we can enjoy life, because at some point, all of us will go. And even if they invent anti-aging forever, at some point you may decide that you want to go. That process is a personal experience. And I think that rather than avoiding it and pretending not to see it, I think perhaps acceptance of it will allow us to lead a more real, fulfilled life that's more in sync with reality. When I'm alone, there's a paradox. There's the thoughts of all the things I wanted to do but I haven't done yet. And then there's the acceptance of the fact that if I died or if I'm not here anymore, I've done some pretty cool things. But I think that when negative emotions like that hit us, it may not seem like it at the time, but in a way it's an opportunity for us to really reassess all of our priorities, all the things that we thought were important, and really think about what kind of life do I want to live. And I think we don't ask ourselves that enough. People are always worried about money, prestige, getting the girl. But I think the more important question is, how do I want to live my life? Who do I want to spend the most time with? What type of work do I want to do? What type of partner do I want in a relationship? Or what type of dating life would I like to experience? And I think thinking about that from that perspective, you can start building your life or moving in that direction in a way where grace and luck actually guides you on the path to create this life that you really want. So if you're feeling alone now, just know that here's an upsell. I'm just kidding. Just know that you're not alone. I go through it, even I go through it. A lot of my very successful friends, even friends that are multi-millionaires, go through it. And it's a human experience, okay? You take this opportunity to embrace it, accept it, perhaps see it as an opportunity for change or reassessment of your priorities in life. And maybe you'll look back on this moment and think, wow, that was actually a good moment, and to really figure out what's really important and to continue gracefully moving in that direction.